Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cold Brew Masterclass webinar. My name is Krzysztof Barabos, and I will be one of the speakers today. And first of all, thank you for such large attendance. Before we start, I would like to speak a few words about hard beans. At Hard Beans, we specialize in developing new technologies for the coffee industry, and we have been doing this since 2017. Our cornerstone of the business is science. So all our products are scientifically proven. We operate in four areas: coffee roasting, hardtank technology, RTD production, and coffee grounds recycling. Now, I would like to introduce you our presenters. So first of all, it's me, Krzysztof Barabos, so one of the co-founders of Hardbeans, responsible for the roastery and R&D department. I was for many years associated with the specialty coffee community in Poland. I was the events coordinator at the SCA Poland. I was doing many national championships, as well other alternative coffee brewing competitions. So on the market for very long. Maciej Duszak is our second speaker. He's also one of the co-founders of Hardbeans, but he's the head of sales and operations, involved in specialty coffee since 2010, multiple barista and brewers competition champion and finalist. He is mostly focused on educating, consulting, and developing new business for more than 10 years now, responsible for R&D department also at Hardbeans. Business-oriented coffee professional, eager to connect everything, technology and market. And our third speaker, Zeynep Martinez, will join us later in the webinar. She is our Turkish distributor, responsible for the largest implementation of baby hardtanks in Europe, in a well-known coffee shop chain. She believed in the project from the very beginning and is successfully introducing it to the market. Now, I give the floor to Maciej.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Zeynep. Hello, Chris. It's good to see you all in here. So let's kick off with the masterclass, and let's first talk a little bit about cold brew in general. So the chart you're seeing here shows the size of global coffee market that is predicted to reach over 155 billion USD by 2028. So it's growing year by year, slowly and steadily, about 5.5%. And now you can compare that chart to the chart focused on cold brew market. Although being much smaller in total numbers, it's predicted to reach 5.5 billion USD by 2030. The pace of growing of that market is just uncomparably faster. It's over 23 or almost 24% year to year. So what it tells us is that if you're looking for a niche in the coffee industry, if you're looking for a space to grow faster than the average, cold brew is one of, if not the best ways to go, because it's picking up, it's growing fast, it's getting more and more attention, and that's probably one of the best opportunities to take a look into at the moment on the market. That was also one of the reasons why we got interested in it. Not only we were interested in the economical aspects of cold brew, but also and mainly in the R&D aspects of it, which we will soon cover. So why is cold brew growing so fast? You might wonder. Where is this boom coming from? Well, cold brew is a part of a wider picture that is associated with cold drinks in general. Perhaps you've heard that last year Starbucks reported 75% plus of all the drinks they produce were cold, and this is by no accident. Cold drinks are getting more and more traction and are slowly overturning the sales of hot drinks in coffee shops. Why is it happening? Well, the reasons might be many, but some of them are listed in the slides in front of you. First and foremost, quite simple. Unfortunately, the climate change makes the temperature higher, summers longer, and we're all getting more thirsty, looking for refreshments. That's as simple as it can be. But the consumers are changing. Millennials and Gen Z consumers, and very soon Gen Alpha consumers, are looking for different kinds of drinks at the moment. They consume less alcohol, but they also look for more functional and healthy beverages. So the product being natural, such as coffee-based, tea-based, herbal-based products that increase our well-being are more and more sought after. And there is another trend that is driving the market at the moment and is becoming more and more visible on the beverages market is to stay sharp, which means we not only drink refreshments to quench our throat, but we also drink them to feel better, which is completely opposite to what was driving the market for the past century or so when we were drinking sodas that were sparkling, super sweet, artificial colorants, artificial everything in them, and we just could, the best thing we could do is to feel guilty about drinking those. Now when we want to drink a refreshing soda, not only it doesn't contain all of those let's say bad ingredients, but it can also make us feel better and be beneficial to our body. And cold brew is particularly interesting in that field because in its essence it's a very, very natural product made with as simple ingredients as possible. In case of coffee, it's just coffee and water, right? But it doesn't only have to be coffee. So for those of you who are not very familiar with the terms of cold brew and natural cold brew, a few words of introduction and explanation. Cold brew is a cold extracted drink steeped with cold water. It's refreshing, it's flavorful. In case of coffee, it provides a lot of caffeine, even more than the hot brew out of the same coffee beans. Usually, the flavor profile of it is more mellow, less bitter, less acidic. But take note that cold brew does not have to be just coffee. For us, deeply rooted in the coffee industry, when we say cold brew, we think coffee by default. However, as you learn along the way today during the webinar, some of the technologies, including Hardtank, allow you to produce way beyond coffee with cold extraction, many more different drinks, which are basically limited only by your imagination. And then there is another very common term, Nitro cold brew. Nitro cold brew is basically the way to serve cold brew. The way it works is that we saturate our cold brew drink with nitrogen. And by saturating it with nitrogen, you can obtain a cascade effect, which you can see in the picture on the screen right now. It's very similar to the Guinness effect that we know for decades now. And by creating that cascade effect, not only your drink will look mesmerizing, but first and foremost, it will taste delicious. It becomes creamy, smooth, fluffy, and dense. So cold brew and nitro cold brew are those two most common terms within the cold brew space, I would say. So, as I said, economics were not the only reasons why we took a look into our cold brew project back in 2018 when we started to develop our scientific cold brew research. When we began that project, we've made a list with traditional immersion cold brew making, the one that we very well know from the picture on the slide right now, right? You have a bucket, you have a paper filter, you put some coffee into it, you soak it for 16 to 20 hours, then you drain the coffee, and then you put cold brew into some other vessel to start serving it. Everybody who ever done it, we know the drill and we know the challenges. First, long extraction time in traditional cold brew that is very often described as a unique feature of that method. It's actually its biggest drawback. First, because it kills your efficiency. If you brew your batch in, let's say, 20 hours or so, what happens if you run out of cold brew for a day? Well, guess what? The next batch comes tomorrow. On the contrary, if you want to make sure you will have enough of product for a higher demand for a day, you've brewed, let's say, 15 liters of cold brew, but then the weather is poor and you didn't sell it. Well, what can you do with it? You just throw it away. So you wasted a lot of money in some cases as a food waste. You didn't sell it, you have to just throw it away. So the efficiency is one of the biggest challenges here. Is trying to balance the demand and supply ratio. And also, if you brew cold brew for, let's say, 20 hours, usually in room temperature, because only a few of us have fridges big enough to fit 20-liter bucket into it. Everybody does it in room temperature in the back room of their coffee shops. Let's be honest. Your product gets oxidized even before you start serving it. And oxidation limits not only the shelf life of your product, but undermines its quality. It losing clarity, it losing cleanliness, it losing freshness, right? So, and you can't avoid it essentially when extracting for so long and exposing your cold brew bed for 16, 20, or 24 hours in some instances. But it's not the worst part. Then high operation cost gets involved. Traditional cold brew preparation is a very complex process, and it's all manual labor. You have to grind the coffee, filter the water, pre-rinse the coffee beds, pre-rinse the paper filter. Then you have to drain the coffee. You have to clean it all manually, sanitize it all manually. There is a lot of heavy lifting involved. All that takes time, costs you money as a business owner, and it also affects the consistency that we will touch in a minute. And then the elephant in the room that we will talk later on in a bigger detail is the hygiene. Cold brew is a cold extraction. No high temperature to sterilize your product. As you see in the picture on the left, no gloves, no sanitary standards when we make it. And let's be honest, this is how the reality looks like. And then you got to clean your buckets. You have to sanitize your buckets. It takes time. It's a lot of manual labor. So people have the tendency to cut the corners here. And that affects the hygiene of your product, which might be, in some cases, very big trouble for consumers. And all those combined also affects the consistency of your product, because if there are so many elements involved into cold brew preparation, then the space for an error is quite high. And imagine a situation in which somebody have set a batch of cold brew for the following day. Let's say it's Wednesday afternoon today. You have set the batch of 20 liters of cold brew. You go back home, you close your coffee shop, and then there is a morning shift opening up the day after, and they taste the cold brew, and it doesn't taste as it should. Something is totally wrong. Maybe you've made a mistake with the ratio of coffee to water. Maybe you ground the coffee on the wrong grinder setting. Maybe something else happened. And what are you going to do now? Either you're selling cold brew that is not according to your spec and the quality you would like to serve, or you don't serve it at all, and then losing money both on the food cost and the labor cost involved into preparation of such a bad batch, but also you're losing the revenue because you have nothing to sell for a day, right? So these were the biggest issues we've listed. And by the way, we didn't like cold brew back at the time because of all this. And we challenged ourselves to change it, to maybe improve and reinvent cold brew making by any means. And along this webinar, you're going to learn what we did and how we did it to make cold brew better. Chris?
Thank you, Maciej. Before that, let's talk about the elephant in the room, which is microbiological risks. As you know, cold brew is a coffee steeped in cold water, which means that the beverage is not heat treated. If it's not heat treated, it's creating an environment where all the non-pleasant bacteria like E. coli, Listeria, Salmonella, etc. can grow. Also, it's mildly acidic, which means when we brew coffee, our pH is above 4.6. 4.6 is the safe level. Staying below that, we are almost sure that nothing will grow inside. But with coffee, the pH level is higher, which means that those microbes, which can appear in our brew, can survive and proliferate in this beverage. And we need to keep in mind that there are many dozen factors that can infect that. First of all, it's the coffee itself, because not every coffee is touched with gloves. Many times, even at the roastery level, we or the roaster or the packaging team, it's touching the beans by bare hands, using bare hands. And our bare hands are not clean as we think, even though we wash it. Other thing is those equipment we use. It need to be sterilized or it need to be sanitized to be sure that nothing grows on the walls, nothing grows on the ceiling. Other very dangerous equipment at our shop is the grinder. Who is sanitizing the grinder? No one. But what we are doing, we are grinding, so crushing organic matter, which is coffee, and then the residual oils and particles of coffee are left and live in a like room temperature. It's not a challenge if we brew it above 60 degrees Celsius, like pour overs or espresso. With cold brew, we really need to be very sensitive and taking care on how we prepare the coffee and how we brew the coffee. Even looking at the picture on the right side, which was found on Google as my cold brew fountain from one of the quite well-known chains. What's wrong here with this picture? First of all, look how many risk factors are there for microbial growth. First of all, it's in the back of the coffee shop, close to the shelf. Nearby are coffee bags, paper bags. Everything is open. We have open tanks. Machi said, like the traditional cold brew making process is very long, takes hours. So here we are having like a lot of oxidation, especially with those open buckets. There is no control at all of the process, especially here, multiple buckets extracting one from another to another. So basically, we cannot control the process, the extraction time. Don't We cannot say anything about repeatability of that. General hygiene, brewed in the back room. The collecting buckets are on the floor. Good that they are not straight on the floor, are on a like kind of trolley, but still open buckets. Everything can fall there, like not only dust, but some germs, some even pests or like flying flies that can like be attracted by the smell of coffee, can flow there, drop in, drone in. So basically, there is a lot of space where something wrong can happen. And at the end of the day, cleaning time takes hours with such 20 liter buckets. So not only we need to dump it, it's quite heavy, we need to wash it, but then we need to sanitize that. So again, fill all those buckets up to the top with cleaning agents, leave it for like half hour, 1 hour, then drain it, again, lifting it, wash it with pure water. It's a really, really tough job. And to get a very safe, healthy product out of it, oh, that will be a big challenge.
Thanks, Chris. So, as you see, for the past 15 minutes or so, all we're telling you is that cold brew is one big nightmare, potentially a disaster to your business and your consumers. So you might be thinking, what the hell am I doing here? Well, this is the reason in the first place, as I already said, why we got involved into cold brew business. And our ultimate goal is that it's not just a gimmick. It's supposed to be, if we're about to launch a product or a service or a technology on the market, is to make it practical, is to really solve real life issues. And this is why we designed Hardtank in the first place. And also, I think there is no better person than one of our distributors who's here with us today, who is in the field on her daily, day-to-day operations, and really can answer to the question, how does it look like in real life when using Hardtank, and why do your clients or you yourself might consider buying our technology for their operations. So welcome once again, Zeynep. Thank you for being with us today. You are our partner in Turkey, and you also work with one of the major chain coffee shops, globally recognized, the Cafe Nero, that has over 100 outlets in Turkey itself, if I'm not mistaken. And you are the example of the quite success story with them. I think we might describe our technology by real life examples. How do these features of Hardtank bring benefits to your clients' operations?
Hello, everybody. Thanks for having me, Majid, here. I'm very happy to be a part of this project. And I'm also very happy that my journey crossed with Hardtank technology. Actually, I'm a good example, as you said, because of my story. And for people to know, I was working as a business development manager in one of the chains in Turkey. And it was kind of my responsibility to find new technologies or solutions and recipes. And I was also working on menu. And my table was right in front of the bar where we were making cold brew. And I was witnessing all those issues that we've been speaking about and challenges producing cold brew. As I was witnessing them, every day I was thinking and speaking with our barista, like, does this make sense, making this kind of beverage that we are serving in buckets? And it's a lot of hassle. It's never same. We are getting a lot of complaints, and we really put a lot of effort, but it doesn't really worth it at the end, because we can't really serve a good beverage, although with all this effort. And one day I said, like, guys, like, seriously, there should be a device or a machine, something for cold brew, it can't be only with buckets or this method. There should be something. Then that day I sit on my computer and I said, like, okay, I'm gonna find a way to get out of this thing. There should be something. Yes, and there was something. That day I found Hardtank, a website, and then it was very promising. Once I watched the videos and checked the device itself and read about it, I was like, pretty impressive. If this device is really making what it's promising, then that would be a game changer for cold brew. And then I got in contact with Hardtank and Hardbean's team, and we have an online meeting. I learned about it more. Then I went to a fair to see Hardtank in action, and at the end, it was more than enough for me to convince myself and quit on my job as where I was working as a business development manager, and go after Hardtank technology and bring it to my country. From the beginning, I knew it was gonna work. And it didn't really take too much time for us to manage all this here, that because I believed in the product, I witnessed that, I worked on it, and I saw, like, it is really doing what, like, because once you watch it, it's like, how come it's that short time can really give you a good extraction? How come it can make it that quick? If it's making it that quick, it's a good result. There can be a lot of questions, because what is 24 hours? And then we are speaking about less than an hour. There's a big difference in there. But once you meet with the device and witness it your own, you just need to spare 1 hour and then you have no more questions in your mind. This is what happens to my clients here in Turkey. When I make my presentation to them, they come with some questions in their mind, and after 1 hour, at the end of presentation, that's all we speak with them. They say like, it's unbelievable. Is there some kind of magic? What is this thing? I said, no magic. It's technology. There is patented and awarded technology behind it. And then I explain it all. Simple. Like, yes, it is making it. It is really a magical device which brings all the solutions to all those challenges of cold brew world. So if you're going to speak about those, like we spoke about already, the challenges, what are the solutions for that? First of all, the biggest challenge is time, right? Time matters. And what we are speaking here, less than an hour. When we say less than an hour, it's based on your beans. It can be between 20 minutes to 50 minutes, which can give you easily 9 liters of cold brew in 1 hour. That's a very good amount. Short extraction time, that means if you can brew 2 batches in less than an hour, that gives you the flexibility, right, on your cold brew, which means you don't really need to stick on one bean. Making small batches, you can have different single origins, let's say. That's a good opportunity to make something different and surprise your clients, or try with new beans if you want to, and expand even your menu by having a cold brew menu. This is something really catchy for my clients when I'm speaking with them, because it is such a good idea that you don't really need to stick only one bean, but you can offer different beans to your clients and even create a cold brew menu with them. So the second one is better waste and product management, brew on demand, which means brew on demand helps you to serve whenever you need it or whenever you're short, right? Because it's quick, it's efficient. Like once you see that you're getting out of your cold brew, then you can brew it in a very short time. So what that means you don't really need to store a lot of cold brew, just in case, because you're gonna run out your cold brew and then you need to wait another 24 hours. No, you will only brew on your demand, and that brewing on your demand is gonna bring you something super good, which I put it in words as fresh cold brew. Fresh cold brew is a term that we don't speak about it, right? There is no such a thing like fresh cold brew. But actually, because all those cold brew that we are drinking and experiencing now, as Krzysztof explains, as Maciej explains, they are already not fresh while they are brewing themselves, while we are producing them. But here, thanks to Hardtank technology, with fast brewing, we are making a very good beverage, which is clean and fresh, that our clients can consume it in the right time. And brew on demand gives us the opportunity to serve them fresh cold brew all the time. And another thing, more products to offer. As we're all enjoying and as we're all following that, the whole world is enjoying this new cold brew experience, why we gonna stop ourselves only serving only cold brew coffee, but we would like to surprise, or we would like to serve more to our clients, more cold brew beverages, what they can be. The first thing that comes to my mind is tea, of course. What about replacing iced teas with cold brew teas? It sounds cool, it is catchy, and once you make it, you are really gonna like it. What we do basically, in our baby Hardtank basket, instead of putting grinded coffee, we put loose leaves. And with loose leaves, we are brewing it with water. And it is a big success that you are not involving your loose leaves with hot water. That keeps all the aroma and the taste inside. And the result of cold brew tea is something else. So with the technology of baby Hardtank, you can have cold brew coffee, you can have cold brew tea. That means you can have your own cold brew menu, which I promise that your clients are gonna like it. As I'm here to share some insights from my experience in the country, whatever I'm speaking and explaining to you, they're all real-time experiences. Once I brew cold brew tea with the baby Hardtank, I know the results. I know how clients are responding to that. Here is the example. As Majid explained, that we already got the deal, and now in every single Cafe Nero shop is working with Hardtank in Turkey now. They are not only making cold brew coffee, plus they are brewing their tea with baby Hardtank also. It was that convincing for them that the result was very good. They wanted to go with 2 different beverages in their menu. So that can be an example for you also. Better product quality, definitely. Like, there is no even need to speak about this thing. As I said before, you can have questions in your mind like how come it is better product quality? Why? You really need to see it in action. Once you see it in action and taste the beverage once it finishes, then there will be no more questions in your mind. It is crystal clear cold brew after you brew, because there is like very good filtration system inside, and it gives you don't really need to filter anymore. Once the program finish, your beverage, your cold brew is ready to serve. That means better product quality itself.
Well, that's interesting
So,
that you've
part.
mentioned filtration, Zainab. Just wanted to ask you an additional question, and which will lead us to the second part of this slide, is that with Hardtank, you don't need no paper filter, right, or any other filter. So that's first and foremost simplifying the process and reducing the cost. And I believe that this is also quite important for you, as you work with a large chain for whom economics and spreadsheets are everything, right?
Yeah, definitely. And also, Majid, like people, they have 2 things in their mind when they come to presentation or when we are speaking about Hardtank. 2 things, two main things. They're like, how can it extract? How can it reach the right extraction in such short time like this? We know the answer, right? Thanks to our technology. We know how it works, all the circle and the washing and triggering the coffee. Then they have the answer once it's finished. And the second biggest question is, how come it's really gonna come clean? Because normally in traditional ways, you really need to filter so many times. My clients, they were telling me that they need to filter 5 or 6 times to have a clear cold brew at the end. There is no extra filtration needed thanks to our own filtration system, right? We have double, and the coffee itself is also a filtration. These 2 main things are very important. One is time, second one is better product quality, which we needed. But those 2 are the main, we say, but there are a lot more that it helps. And let's speak about them also. High extraction yield, lower food cost, reduced labor cost, short preparation and cleanup time, no disposable filters. All those are also pluses. And another plus, as I'm here that sharing with real-time experiences, I'm speaking also with baristas. Baristas are so happy. They don't really need to do cleaning themselves. The machine has an automatic cleaning system and it cleans itself. They are very happy with that, because making cold brew, it's a big issue, even to store it, to clean it, and make the same result every time. They really need to put a different effort and time on that thing, which baristas, as we all know, they're always very busy. If you want to have a good quality cold brew product, here we have the device itself now. Let Hardtank to do the job and make your baristas happy. As far as your baristas happy, your clients are gonna be happy also.
Yeah, exactly. All right, but it's not over, right? We've mentioned quite a lot details about hygiene and also the operational efficiency, which again are a key for large. I mean, they should be a key for all of us in the hospitality industry, but they are a cornerstone, a critical value for chains, which have a certain credibility, and they can't afford any damage to their image. So they have to be very strict in terms of hygiene. So how would you say Hardtank applies here?
I would say no worries about hygiene anymore, because Hardtank technology itself backs you up with its automatic cleaning and sanitizing program. You got everything you need there about hygiene. Then baristas, with only the push of a button, then with the automatic system, the device cleans itself, and then you are ready for the next day or for the next brew with a very clean and hygiene device, and you really don't need to worry about it anymore at all. It is a perfect hygiene system in compare what traditional ways and challenges are facing with. It is very important hygiene, which Christopher is going to speak more about it. I will let this part to him. But all I can say with my experience, chains, coffee shop owners, and baristas are so happy that its automated cleaning and sanitizing program works itself pretty well. It is all clean, and they don't really need to think about it anymore. It is cleaning itself. It's already clean, and everything is brewing in a device, in a machine, in a clean device itself. So insights from my clients is they don't really need to worry about it anymore. They are very happy with the system.
So how about introducing a new piece of technology, a completely new procedure for making drinks, plus adding more new drinks to the menu, to, let's say, Nero in Turkey? It's a chain, over 100 stores, training so many baristas, transferring all that knowledge, taking care of keeping the standard. It's a massive work. Potentially. So how did you manage the whole process of introducing Hardtank to such a big chain, which have so much complexities in their operation and also operate around the huge country of Turkey?
So when I went to Cafe Nero for the first meeting, they were not having cold brew menu in their menu. They tried it before, but they stopped it. And when we were having the meeting, what they told me, they said, we tried to serve cold brew because all our competitions, they have cold brew in their menu. We can't say no to our clients, but it was so hard to operation of serving cold brew or producing it or logistic wise. It was so hard. It was a big challenge, and we were not really making it in the way that we want to. We are willing to, because they want to have a perfect operation. And they said, we quit serving cold brew. There I was bringing them the solution of all their challenges too. That's the key part about Hardtank technology. Like, we are always speaking about the challenges, and yes, there is a solution for that. Hardtank itself, it is really the solution, not only because we are saying it, because we are experiencing it. We know. How we know that? As Cafe Nero was not serving cold brew before because of all its challenges, once I brought them the Hardtank, we had a lot of presentation. Even in London, we had the presentation, and then it went through so many people and checks and everything. And at the end of the day, they were satisfied with the result and in easy operation and everything that was about the device, all the good things and help that Hardtank can bring to their operation. So once they decided to go for it, they were already checked and knew everything about it. Then me personally, myself, I helped them with the education. We arranged some education sessions in their headquarters with their training people, and it was very easy for them to learn because Hardtank is an easy device to operate. It's an easy device even to install, which we will speak about it later, I guess. So it didn't really take too much time for them to learn the device. And as you said, that there is a big barista flow in chains, you know. That's why, like, it should be, once you're offering them a device, they want the simplest device ever. They want the device to work well. They want a solution, but they want the device to be simple also, because they don't really have time to teach to every single barista when they are changing. So even for that aspect, Hardtank was very satisfying for them, as it is with a touch screen, with just a push of a button, it works itself. All you need to do, all your barista needs to do, is just to grind the coffee, put it in the basket, place the basket, and push the button. That's it. So this was also convincing for them. That's why we are speaking as the last thing of ease of operation.
All right, thank you so much for that, Zeynep. We're gonna touch some more numbers and real life examples of economics using Hardtank versus traditional cold brew makers. But before we jump into that, I just wanted to give you an overlook on the product's offering in case you wonder what else other than baby Hardtank that you've already seen on the slides we offer. So this is actually the first unit we've launched to the market in 2019. It's called Hardtank 20, and the number 20 stands for 20-liter maximum batch size. So this is an under counter unit which is robust, which is super simple to use and super resistant to any kind of use, with high efficiency. It comes with a set of dedicated kegs, and it can also come with a dispensing system with 1 or 2 Nitro taps built in. So it might work as a brew and serve all-in-one solution with pre-saved extraction programs, automatic cleaning and sanitation. All the features we've mentioned are also available in that machine. That might be a good solution for chains operating within one city, because you can have one unit producing cold brew for multiple outlets, or any situation that requires high cold brew consumption. Some of our clients buy these units to make cold brew and then bottle it by themselves to sell fresh unpasteurized bottles in the cold chain in their coffee shops. Some of them buy them to make cold brew into kegs and distribute throughout multiple outlets, or during the events where the consumption is high in the limited period of time. So Hardtank 20 with or without the dispensing system, it might be the answer to all of those needs where the high output is a must. And then we launched the baby Hardtank. That is the smaller version of it. It's a countertop machine with only 30 by 30 centimeters of a footprint. So it's quite compact. It looks beautiful. It has a transparent, visible extraction chamber, so you can admire the spectacle of cold extraction. And it also has one extra feature that we didn't mention yet. It's compatible to work with spirits. So you can create spirit infusions. You can brew batch cocktails with it. And imagine having 4 liters of cold brew martini, nitro cold brew martini on the top. You can brew over 100 servings from one single batch and just serve them as you go. So it's, despite being small, it's also quite efficient. So these are 2 products on our range at the moment, but our R&D department works hard on some new cool products to be announced later this year. So stay tuned, because we're having some cool new pieces of equipment prepared. So enough on the equipment. Let's focus on the drinks. We've mentioned that you can brew multiple different beverages with Hardtank. And in case you wonder how to do it and what would you need and how to get inspired, we have a few ideas for you. And Chris, you can fill in here.
Yes, as we say, the Hardtank is only limited by your imagination, and that's true. So daily you can make whatever recipe you want. But I will share with you some recipes we tried, our friends tried, and are really delicious. So starting with a basic coffee recipe. We are using around 325 gram of coffee ground. For filter, I would even say finer than filter, something like AeroPress, maybe a little bit more coarser than mocha pot. And the amount of coffee depends on roast degree and the bean itself, because we need to fill the basket up to the top. So depending on how dark it roasted, how light it roasted, what's the varietal and processing, the amount of coffee will be between 300 to 350 gram. We say it's 325 gram. Then we use the standard 4-liter output program. And this program is already calculating the absorption of coffee. So the device is filling with itself with 4.7 liter of water, because this 0.7 liter of water will be absorbed by coffee, and the output will be 4 liters. We infuse it starting point 40 minutes. As we experience over the time, especially those anaerobic, processed, or infused coffees, if we want them to be more like funky, fruity, refreshing, the brewing should be 20 minutes. But if we want to have like a very bold, very sweet round cup with a more gentle acidity, the brew time will be 40, 50, sometimes 60 minutes. So you play with that as you want. But what's more important, here is the example of lavender infused cold brew, but you can infuse your coffee with any other herb or fruit. For example, what I was doing in the summer, in the winter time before Christmas, I was using our daily coffee from Sun Coffee from Brazil. Campo das Vertentes is a natural recipe blend of Brazilian coffees, very mild, like sweet, milk chocolate, hazelnuts, and I was just adding slices of oranges in the bottom of the basket. Then I put the ground coffee, and then on the top I added again the slices of oranges and some cloves. And after the extractions, your coffee was having additional orange acidity and aftertaste of like those spicy cloves. But you can also infuse your coffee, for example, with lavender. So you put 325 gram of coffee in your basket, additional 10 gram of lavender, and infuse it for 40 minutes. And then your coffee will be like with this additional flavor of lavender. But coffee, it's not everything. We can also brew teas. And in terms of teas, you don't need to fill the basket up to the top. With coffee, we need to fill the basket up to the top because coffee itself is the filtering medium, which means that it's like cleaning also our beverage during the extractions. In terms of tea, you can put even like 1/3 of the basket of tea, half basket of tea, depending what kind of tea you are brewing and how much water you want to use. For example, with jasmine, you just use 75 gram of loose leaf jasmine tea, same 4-liter program, but you infuse it just for 10 minutes. And 10 minutes is good enough to extract those floral, very gentle jasmine aromas, and you don't extract the tannins that make it bitter, astringent, and aftertaste. In terms of other like fruit blends, dry fruits, or very intensive products like flowers that are not having tannins, for example, hibiscus, we are recommending to use 125, 150 gram of loose leaf hibiscus and longer extraction times, like 50 minutes or even 1 hour. And then you can make your own Rosa de Jamaica, which is like my favorite Central American drink, which is hibiscus extraction with simple syrup. And you just like serve it on an ice. Oh, that's magnificent, refreshing, sweet, intense, beautiful color. But that's not everything. Using baby Hardtank, you can also make your own cocktails. And as you know, we are from Poland, so we know spirits well. with your baby Hardtank, you can make, for example, your cold brew martini, which is very popular nowadays, especially like I heard in Ireland and Dublin. It's like favorite cocktail among the coffee shops. So instead of buying like commercial coffee liquors and spend a lot of money, you can use your own coffee, but instead of water, you just mix a blend of vodka and water, or you just use plain vodka and then you will dilute it with higher amount of water. So you extract your coffee into spirit. Then you just simply add your dark muscovado simple syrup 1 to 1 and mix it and serve it from a nitro tap. Not only you will get this like kind of nice foamy texture from the nitrogen, but also it will be sweet, coffee-ish, refreshing and waking up cocktail. And I think one of my favorite ones is cold brew old fashioned, where instead of water, we use bourbon or like whiskey. You use 5 liters of whiskey, 325 grams of coffee. You infuse the coffee into the whiskey, and then you can put it back into your bottles, put it on a shelf, and then once you serve your cocktail, for example, like cold brew fashioned, old fashioned, you just add 50, 60 mils of the cold brew old fashioned, 10 milliliters of maple syrup, 2 dashes of Angostura or cacao bitters on a big ice cube, and you just cover it with orange slice or orange zest, and you have a really nice cocktail. And guess what? From one batch, you get almost 100 cocktails. You can do also your Negronis based on coffee, Negronis based on tea. So limited, as I say, by your imagination. What's more, if you're a coffee shop that likes those syrups, and many syrups on the market are artificial. We have a very big branch of syrups that are natural, non-artificial, but still those natural syrups are quite expensive. So why not make your own one? If you want the pumpkin spice, you just use pumpkin and spices, ginger or pepper. You put it in a basket, you infuse it with water, and then just add, let's say, simple syrup or 1 kg of sugar into your extract, and you will get your syrup. Like we have the example of ginger syrup, where we use 400 grams of fresh ginger, 120 grams of lemongrass, 30 grams of orange zest, regular 4-liter brew, 50-minute extraction, and after transferring it into a bucket, into a jar, or whatever vessel which is capable to get like more than 5 liters of output, you add additional like 1 kg of white sugar and 10 grams of vanilla extract. After that, you just bottle it and you have your own syrup. So that's super cool, especially in a coffee shop. Make your own vanilla syrup, make your own cinnamon syrup, and then serve your lattes based on that. So look how many examples you can get just out of one device. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thanks, Chris, for that. And I believe it's also worth underlining that all that you can make using one device and one device only. Whereas if you'd like to have so many different drinks, cold brew drinks in your menu using traditional cold brew buckets, you would have to have multiple buckets, right? Taking quite a lot of space, which is always limited in the coffee shop. So that's also something to take into consideration. And now we can jump into one of my favorite parts, which are the numbers, because I believe that speaks to our imagination even more than beautiful pictures of delicious drinks that we all wish we could be sipping right now. So let's compare Hardtank and baby Hardtank with traditional cold brew bucket. We have a comparison that is made using technical parameters of our equipment and traditional cold brew bucket manufacturer. So starting from the top, of course, you can make a batch per day with traditional cold brew maker, and as we said, 8+ batches with Hardtank easily, because if you brew quickly, then you can even multiply it by 2. And when you make 8 batches with Hardtank, this is your daily serving output per unit, per single device, compared to 1 bucket of traditional cold brew. That is about 18 liters per batch. The preparation time with Hardtank is just as long as grinding the coffee and putting it into basket. Whereas with traditional cold brew maker, you have to filter about 20 liters of water into the bucket. You have to prepare the paper filter, grind your coffee, put it into the filter, pre-wet the coffee, then immerse it in water, then take the bucket back into the back room of your coffee shop. It takes way more time to prepare a single batch. And then once the batch is finished, you have to drain it, right? So you have to lift up your paper filter, you have to let the coffee drain because it's precious product. So you want to take every drop of it, and that also takes quite significant amount of time. Not to mention that you ain't gonna serve your cold brew from a 20-liter bucket. You gotta put it into a clean vessel, maybe a Nitro dispenser. So this is again additional time required. And then you have to clean your device post extraction, of course. With Hardtank, as we said, you just press the button and the machine rinses itself. It takes about 10 minutes, during which you can do whatever you want because there is no manual labor required, versus manually cleaning the bucket, washing it, rinsing it, and then draining it. And of course, you have no extraction control with traditional cold brew maker. So when you start the extraction, it can be affected by the temperature of ambient temperature. Someone maybe forgetting about draining the cold brew in the morning. So sometimes extraction is longer, sometimes it's shorter. You really have to be very careful with that. Whereas with Hardtank, you just set the extraction time. The drain is automatic, so it always is extracted the way you want and always the same way, batch to batch. And of course, at the end of the day, you have to sanitize the machine as any other machine. And again, here it's automated versus manual sanitation for the bucket. So imagine filling the bucket with 20 liters of water, adding the sanitation agent, waiting for about an hour, then removing the water, rinsing it with fresh water, once again draining the whole thing. And then if you have multiple different buckets, you have to do it all by hands during the day. It's a lot of time and effort, and that costs you money because somebody has to do it and you have to pay to your staff for doing it. But the best part starts in here. This is the profitability chart that we made for Hardtank and traditional cold brew makers. So here we compared the cost of product, just the coffee beans that you get when brewing with Hardtank versus brewing traditional immersion method. And when you look at it, you can see we've taken a specialty coffee single origin beans. We got its cost per kilogram in euros, which should be a real life cost with a discount applied for a coffee shop. And we start with about 325 grams of ground coffee for both us and the traditional bucket. And this is how much the coffee will cost you. And then this is how much of the product you will get with Hardtank and with traditional cold brew maker that the manufacturer recommends you to use as a concentrate. So with Hardtank, we brew ready to drink concentration. You will have a little bit over 4 liters of your cold brew at 153% strength, as an example. Whereas with the bucket, you'll have a little bit less than 1 liter or 1 kilogram of concentrate that has a little bit less than 4%. So in order to compare apples to apples, which means the same strength, the same TDS of your beverage, we have to dilute that concentrate, right? So using a calculator, we've calculated that you will need about 1,400 grams of water added to 900 grams of your concentrate to go from 3.85% TDS to 153% of TDS. So now we ended up with exactly the same strength of our cold brews. However, the funny part starts here. Look, the total weight of your product It's exactly the same with Hardtank at the end as it was in the beginning, because we brew ready to drink concentration. However, with the traditional cold brew maker, you only get 2.3 liters of your cold brew out of the very same 325 grams. So you will only get 9 portions out of that versus almost 17 out of Hardtank, baby Hardtank in that case. And then when you multiply it by cost per portion, look how big is the difference. So now, given that you only sell 20 cold brews a day on average, which is one batch, a little bit over one batch from baby Hardtank, this is your annual cost of coffee beans, only the coffee beans. Nothing else is taken into consideration here in that chart. So it's over $7,300 annually, and this is 7,300 portions annually, and your total cost with Hardtank is 3,300 euros, more or less. And with traditional cold brew maker, to make the same amount of drinks, you're gonna spend almost twice as much. This is incredible difference. This is incredible difference because the savings only on the cost of coffee, and only if you make a little bit over one batch with baby Hardtank a day, will get you so much savings. And now you might be tempted with this. So you might be wondering, all right, so how much is the machine, and what is the ROI for the machine, all right? So this is the retail price of baby Hardtank and larger Hardtank. Of course, it can vary in different areas of the world because there are different costs applying, like the shipping cost, the customs, taxation, all that. But we got to start with something. So if your machine costs you the retail pricing, and then your cost per portion is what we've just calculated, you're selling a portion of cold brew for 4 euros gross, then it's about 3.33 net, not including the VAT. That's your profit per serving, almost 2.9 euros per serving. So your food cost is really, really low. And serving 20 portions of such cold brew per day give you the return of investment rate in days as low as 73 days for the baby Hardtank, a little bit longer for the Hardtank all-in-one solution. So investing in that piece of equipment, although it's way more expensive than just a traditional plastic bucket, this way or another will pay back in just a little bit over 2 months. This really should speak to one's imagination, and that's only the cost of coffee involved and only the return of the investment. It doesn't, as I said, focus on the savings on the labor cost, paper filtration, lost revenue, lost a product if you didn't sell it, all the factors we've mentioned so far. So if you're thinking of investing, and you might be quite hesitant in investing into cold brew, then you can actually see that it might make sense. All right, I think we have come to an end of our lecture part here. Thank you everybody so much once again for being with us today, but it's not over yet. We are here for you to answer all of the questions. So if there's anything more you'd like to know, anything you would like to ask, any doubts you have, we're here for you, and we're here to answer to all of your questions. All right, the first question from John is, how many liters does it hold? If you're asking about the batch size of Hardtank, then the batch size with baby Hardtank is up to 5 liters. It can also be smaller. And with Hardtank 20, the batch size is the extraction water we use is 20 liters. And depending on the material you're extracting, it can be, the output is about 18 to 19 liters per batch. You can also use the half of it, so the small batch option is also available, and then your output would be 9 liters per batch, but for that you would need a dedicated small size basket. Oh, good that you're asking about that, Olaf. Both Chris and myself were smiling because I've mentioned we have a few new products in the pipeline. So one of them will be the concentrate functionality for the baby Hardtank first. I won't say too much about it because it's not available yet. It's not released yet, but I'm only going to say that we already are capable of extracting over 5% of TDS with baby Hardtank. So this is something that is yet to be announced later this year. So as I said, stay tuned for more news to come from the Cold Brew field. All right, so I think we've covered all that we have. Thank you so much, Zeynep and Chris, for today. Okay, one more question from Olaf. Do you have Nitro dispensers? Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yes, we do, Olaf. We have a dispenser that is a double tap dispenser, and it offers Nitro functionality. And again, speaking about novelties, by the end of the year, we would like to launch a very new, very cool, I would say revolutionary dispenser made by us ourselves. It's still in the development phase, but it should be available, if not by the end of this year, then probably Q1 next year. We'll have 2 taps, Nitro on-off version. It will cool down the product in no time. It will be countertop, very compact, and it should be also very competitive in price. So at the moment, we have a dispenser that also works well, double tap, countertop. It requires nitrogen cylinder. So if you'd like to know more and get like a full package, reach out to us. We'll be happy to help you out.
That's a good question. Basically, you can add carbonated drinks to your extraction, but over the time of extraction, most probably those carbon particles will evaporate, so you will not have any more carbonated drink there. But then you can add the carbon bullet, or you can infuse it with carbon dioxide into the keg. So to be honest, my favorite beverage out of Hardtank was in very fresh first flush oolong tea, which was extracted using Hardtank, but served not with nitrogen, served with CO2, served with carbon dioxide. It was sparkling, flowery, beautiful, elegant, because carbon dioxide is not working well with coffee, to be honest. It's making it taste really awful. But carbon dioxide is working pretty well with tea, dried fruits, so you can make your own lemonade. So yeah, you can even try. We didn't try that, but you can use Coca-Cola instead of water and try to infuse your coffee into Coca-Cola and then carbonize it after the process. Why not?
Yeah, I have. I remember one client we have in the Czech Republic, which is actually a brewery. They have bought Hardtank 20, and they use beer instead of water to infuse it with various materials. So definitely carbonated drinks are an option for cold brew. Yeah. Well, milk might be a tricky beast because of the microbiology. So there are 2 ways you can add it to your cold brew. First is either to add it to the keg or any other vessel you keep your cold brew in. So let's say you have your cold brew latte recipe. Let's say you have 10 liters of cold brew coffee in your keg and about 5 to 6 liters of milk. You put that milk into the keg. You shake it well to mix it all up, infuse it with nitrogen to make sure there is no more oxygen, and you keep it refrigerated. All right, that's important. In such a case, your product will be good to serve for maybe 2-3 days refrigerated, but then you have to be very careful with sanitizing the keg, the pipes, the dispensing system, right? That's the biggest challenge here. Alternatively to that, you can only keep cold brew in your cold brew system and then add milk on top into the cup itself, right? So you get your cup, you put your cold brew in it, and then you top it up with milk independently from your dispensing system. This will keep you on the safe side and the clean side, because we have to remember we're talking about fresh cold brew here, right? We don't pasteurize it in a coffee shop or apply any other form of thermal processing. So it's really important to keep everything clean and neat and minimize the microbiological risk. Plenty of technical questions and detailed one. I'm really happy to be seeing those. That is great. So yeah, I think that were all the questions for today. In case you have any more later after the webinar, you can leave your comments on the YouTube channel. We'll try to get back to you afterwards. You can always message us using our hardtank.com website form. You can send us any kind of questions you'd like us to answer, or find us on the Instagram, on LinkedIn, meet us during shows. We're more than happy to interact with you and help you transforming your cold brew game. So I guess that will be all from us for today. Am I right, Chris?
I think that's it. Thank you very much for joining us. Of course, this video will be uploaded on YouTube, and it was live on YouTube. So you can go back to this our YouTube Hardbeans YouTube webpage, where you can go through that again, maybe find some mistakes we made, maybe challenges, and ask some more questions. Reach out to us. We will be visible on the upcoming festivals in Zurich, Swiss Coffee Festival, and Prague Coffee Festival. We will be also joining this time the Asian show, like Cafe Show in Seoul. So if you are worldwide, you are interested in our products, reach us, and we will try to give you the best cold brew solution on the market. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Maciej. Thank you, Zeynep, for your time. I think it was a really good webinar. Hopefully, our audience was happy with the results.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you, Zeynep. Thank you, Chris.
All the best.